So this is the first of 5 videos for the Unit 5 Objective 12D lesson. And I wanted to quickly review and discuss the bread and butter part of this objective. The objective itself, 12D, is solving log equations using exponents. And we're going to get to that, but we're going to first review what we've done so far. So in Objective 12A, that's the one when we were still meeting together in person, you learned that when you wanted to solve an exponential equation, and on both sides of the equation you could actually rewrite both sides as a power of the same number. In other words, 2 to the x equals 8, you could rewrite the right side as 2 to the third. And then you learned that once you verified that the bases were the same on both sides, then you just get to go ahead and equate the exponents. So therefore you would conclude that x is equal to 3. So in all of these examples and all of these equations, we're trying to figure out what real number we could replace the variable with. So the variable in each of these is x, so we're just trying to get x by itself. And anyway, so that was Objective 12A. So you guys all did a mastery test on that. Everybody passed it. And then all of a sudden we were home and teaching remotely and home under lockdown with this pandemic. But recently, though, you learned Objective 12B, and you learned that what do we do when we solve an exponential equation in which we can't get both the left and right side as a power of the same number? Well, that was the lesson that you learned, that how to solve exponential equations using logs. And so all you had to do then was to rewrite the equation in log form, and that's where we're using our bread and butter. We have exponential form, and then we have logarithmic form of an equation. And in rewriting this exponential equation, 2 to the x equals 5, using logs, we get to write it as log base 2 of 5 is equal to x. So so once we get our x by itself, we're done, unless we have to come up with a decimal approximation. And then at that point you learn that you can use the change of base formula, so you could rewrite the expression in a form that you can substitute into or type it into your calculator and figure out a decimal approximation for that. So that was solving exponential equations. And then we came to last week we came to Objective 12C. In 12C we started solving log equations. Now in Objective 12C, when we solved log equations, we noticed that we had every single term in the entire equation had a log in it, and all the logs had the same base. So once you get one log on the left side, one log on the right side, then just like the box right above it, when you get the bases are the same, you equate the exponents for exponential equations. But for log equations, when the bases are the same, and here again, when we don't see the base, when we see log and no base, we know that the base is 10. So when the bases are the same, we equate the arguments. And it's very, very similar to solving exponential equations using the properties of exponents. Here we're solving logarithmic equations using the properties of logs. Well, just like when we made the transition from 12A to 12B, we're going to make the transition from 12C to 12D. Now, Objective 12 is just solving exponential and log equations, and I like to put them all together. That way you can see the patterns, you can see the similarities as well as the differences. So now what we notice here in box D, we have a log on one side and we have a number on the other. Now when we have a log on one side and a number on the other, that puts us into the category of solving log equations using exponents. Meaning we're going to rewrite this equation using exponents, and we're going to take this equation here and we're going to rewrite it using in exponent form. And in exponent form we see the base is 10. And let me get a different color here so you can see what's going on. So we have 10 raised to the second power equals the argument. So we have 10 raised to the second power is equal to the argument. and the argument being x means that we don't have any other work that we have to do. And that, guys, is your bread and butter. When you get log on one side, number on the other, convert it to exponential form, solve for x, and you're done.